All right, welcome to Rock Show Critique. And today, for our In Conversation, we have Mr. Robert Barry. Robert, how are you doing today?
I am good. How you been?
We've been doing pretty good up here near Buffalo.
Very
How's
good.
things
Oh
out
my
your way?
God. We've always fantastic. We've been partying for years. Everybody's been, no. Well, we had the leap year, which we leaped over 2020. I'm fortunate because you're in my studio here, which we talked about before. You see the console back there. I, since I play a lot of instruments, most of my business, a guy like you, say, writes a song, plays guitar. His drummer friend down the street likes to play like Keith Moon from The Who. He doesn't want that in his song, right? His guitar player, the guitar player, plays like Eddie Van Halen all the time. So they come to me because I build the perfect kind of basic track for their song. I support their vocal and their song, and they don't have to worry about their friends blasting all over their voice and everything. And since that's 75% of my business, one guy at a time, all the people who are writing songs, the old clients, they all came in 2020. I was like 75% of normal. I'm the king of the alcohol spray. So I got to tell you, I have coats like when we played Madison Square Garden. I had a special coat for that, 1988. It has Purell in the pocket still. I live like a singer. I can't afford to get sick. So this, the masking is a little bit different, but the sanitizing, it's kind of the same for me. I can never afford to get sick. And I've been living like this a long time. So now you can live like me. Right?
Exactly. Well, you definitely been busy. Even you don't let even a leap year like that stop you. You've been doing a lot of stuff. Why don't you start filling us in on everything? What you've been up to?
Joe, it's been, I hate to say it, I almost feel bad saying it, but it's been a really good year and a half for me. Besides the studio keeping me feeling normal. And that's a lot of the thing for people, they needed to feel normal. It gets kind of depressing being locked down. I had the record company Frontiers call me and say, the previous album, which we talked before a couple of years ago, the rules have changed, did so well. We need to do a follow up. And I said, "Hey, I don't want to do a follow up. I was working with Keith that time. And they said, well, don't you have any songs left? I said, well, I have one I didn't use, but I don't want to do a follow up. I don't know if I feel disingenuous about, I'll do a follow up. And they said, and it was sort of amazing to me. They said, look, we have Journey, we have Whitesnake, we have Yes, we have everybody on our label. We can't tell you what they sell, but your album did really well. We really think you should do a follow up. And I went, I've never heard that from a record company that, hey, sales are so good that, we need to do another one. These are the saying, well, you need to step it up. So I said, look, I have this one song. It, I really don't want to do it, but I'll tell you what, let me try to write 7 songs because there's 8 songs on the first 3 album and 8 in the second, it's a formula in my mind that needs to continue. If I could write 7 songs that I think Keith would have liked to have worked on and that represent the 3 sound, because after all, I'm sort of half of that sound. I'm the voice and half the writer. Keith was the sound and half the writer. And I've already had to play his keyboard parts and, I know what he does. And if I could figure out something I would think he'd want to work on, then I'll revisit that song, which was a 9-minute song. It was a long song. And it was surprisingly easy, not simple, but it took a year to do for me to write these songs that I felt good about. And it's not that, I'm always writing. I work with Greg Kinn. Greg Kinn and I get together every week. We do 4 hours, we write a song, we record a demo, boom, done. Next one next week. Right? That's our model because he has a billion ideas and I have a billion ideas. And all we need is half an idea each and we got a song, right? But this was something special because this had to fulfill, if I was going to do it, the very final album and work of Keith with this one song, which is called Never, and the album that ended the 3 series, that'd be the 3rd album, a trilogy, that also led toward what I might do next. Because if I gain that many fans and people like the music that much, I'd like to try to take them with me because I'm not going to do any more. Well, I can't do anything more with Keith, can I? He's gone. So I put it together. And when I revisited Never after that, it was such a great song. I had sort of forgotten how much cool Emerson stuff was in it, you know, and the parts he made up. And I, of course, I had his playing, and the Emerson Estate board wouldn't let me use his playing, so I had to recreate it. We talked about that before. But I have all the kind of keyboards he uses. I showed you this before. This is an Oasis. There's a Moog up there. In fact, I keep it right below the picture of 3 from 1988. And, you know, a lot of things that keyboards Keith helped me get. And I'm capable of playing. I'm no Keith Emerson because he was a genius and he plays way more than I ever could. But 3 was a more refined Keith Emerson. So I got the song Never done. I got the 7 new ones, and I sent it to my manager Nick over in England and Frontiers Records, and they said, this is exactly what you needed to do. This is really kind of exciting. You know, it kind of has a little bit of a roller coaster ride between the 3 sound, a little bit more what I would do, which is a blend of guitar and keyboard in the future. And I said, okay, well, let's do it then. And of course, I'm okay at that point. But then the day before release, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. No, boy, I'm going to get skewered. You know, people would say, what the hell are you doing? You can't do another 3 album. And I can't even explain it because it just makes me so happy and fulfilled in so many ways for Keith. Also, people have been saying better than the last album. What? You know, the one that sold so much that I need to do another one. And the reviews have been great. And I can't say it's better than the last one. I really like The Rules of Change. It was an emotional time for me. Losing Keith right in the middle of it. That's a deep album. For me, there's things I look at the lyrics now, I go, oh man, I didn't even realize what I was writing about, you know, because it was such a hard year. But how great to have people and be able to talk to you again because it's worthy enough to talk to you. That's always good.
Exactly. Yeah, that was good to definitely see I didn't know another one was coming out myself. When I saw it, I said, oh, wow, this is awesome. I mean, you know, I didn't even realize you were going to come out with another one.
I didn't either. I honestly, really, I had not planned on it. I wasn't going to do it. I when there's, you know, when there's magic in something, and The Rules of Change really had a magic to it that was special, and it was welcomed with open arms because Keith died in the middle of it. You can't recreate that, and you can't expect it to ever happen again. You can want it to happen again, but you can't expect it. So, and that was a worry for me. You know, I didn't want to ruin what I consider the best thing I'd ever done, you know, or the most important thing I'd ever done. Let's put it that way. And so this one, I actually thought I'm going to have to up my game on playing drums. I got to up my game on the guitar stuff. You know, I really pushed myself to improve some of my skills, especially like in the end of Never, the 9 minute, almost 9 minutes. I think it's 8:57.
Yeah.
There's a double bass drum. It's really moving fast. There's accents and the double bass is going and everything. That was hard for me. I came in one day and I sort of developed it. I went, okay, going to take a few days of practicing in between my sessions when you bring your song in and I play all the instruments for you, you know.
Wow, it's just amazing that you did everything on the album then.
Yeah, you know, and that's not what it's about for me. I do that because I can. And on these albums, I had an agreement with the record company. It was going to be a 3 album, members of 3. I could have brought in all kinds of different people to play, but it doesn't make it a 3 album. You know, it was Carl, Keith, and I, and that's who did the original album. Keith and I did the second album. Now, I sort of finished it off, and Keith and I did the one long song, which is worthy of half an album. And that's the only reason that it turned out that way. I just couldn't have somebody else's style changing what it was. There's, in fact, you know, I'm doing a vinyl right now. They let me press a vinyl. I got the rights back on the last one. This is the Rules of Change. And of course, there's the first one around here somewhere. And there's 300 of these, about 100 left. I'm only going to do 200 of the new one, Third Impression, because I want it to stay kind of scarce. I don't know why. This is the new one, you know, it's the blue one. And there's 3 of them, you know, they lay out. I'll put this on the board with, you know, the red, what I call the green and the blue. And you know, it's sort of dumb maybe, but I like the way it looks. I want 3 of these on my wall, you know, in a frame. like a trophy. It's the most important part of my life. It was a wonderful part of my life. It put me on the map in working with Keith Emerson in ways that, well, I'm talking to you. So that's, you know, without Keith, I might have been talking to you, but you would have said, okay, well, our 5 minutes is up. Thank you. Click. Anyway.
So now that the album's made, it's out there and everything, when it's safe, are you gonna take it out on the road?
Yes. Already booked next year for a festival that I can't talk about yet because they haven't announced it. Maybe even a few things this year if in California, you know, they're putting some shows on and doing things. I feel safe. Maybe this sounds backwards, but in a 200-seat club, 300-seat club, I feel safe that, especially with prog fans who are a lot of guys, a lot of techie guys, a lot of Star Trek lovers, you know, these smarter than the average beast kind of guys, you know, that if they're going to come to a show, they'll be safe, vaccinated, safe, whatever they're going to do, they'll be safe. So you can get 150, 300 people in a place. I don't think the 5,000 seater is happening yet because there'll be too many loose ends. So the small little club things, if there's a few to do at the end of the year, we'll try to do something. Of course, I have December people, which plays November, December. We'll see if there's any holiday shows open, and that might take up the end of my year until we march into the next year. And we are putting out a live DVD on the Prog Stock. We headlined the Prog Stock in 2019 on our tour for the 3.2 band, and that's going to come out, I think, August or so. So it'll be a live concert footage of my 30-year history in rock, which was what the concert was all about, you know.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what was the last live show you actually played now? Do you remember
Oh my God.
how long?
I don't even remember. I think it was New York, upper state New York in Rochester was the last 3.2 show. Seems to me like, was it the beginning of November or end of October 2019?
2019, yeah.
Yeah, and then well, we did, that's not true, we did one December People show. I had put the band in hiatus, looking for new management and stuff. I still am having a hard time finding the right manager for December People that can make that charity, which is what December People is for, make a difference. And they called me from Reno, which is like a mini Vegas, and said, we want you at the Nugget. And we said, oh, geez, we've been trying to get in there for 8 years, you know? So we got together, we played that one show, and that was cool. I even used Jimmy Keegan, the 3.2 drummer, for that show because David Lauser wasn't available, Sammy Hagar's drummer, who's always in the band. So yeah, so that was actually the last show, December 10th, maybe, of 2019.
Okay. It's been a while, then, that's for sure.
Yeah, then I told you, I bought this super old Neve console, which cost me a fortune, and it was delivered March 10th, 2020.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, all right. And what was it, March 19th? We were shut down, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that was bad timing.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm going to end it with a good question here. Let's see see what you got here. So obviously, you've been in this business a long time. It has its ups
80
and
years.
downs.
80 years.
It has its ups and downs, and
Yeah.
you know, many things have changed over the years, obviously. But what part do you enjoy the most, and why?
Interesting question, because it's almost not the part I enjoy the most. It's the part that I don't enjoy the most that's been most important to me. I'm not Steve Perry. I'm not Steve Howe. I'm not any of the Steves that are super famous, right? But I've managed to keep my career in music going and make a living at it. And I've stayed prolific with ideas and striving to be Steve Perry. You know? I mean, I have not given up, and I think it's because I've been able to make a good living at music, but not achieve that success. You know, I want to do what Greg Kihn did. He had 2 big hits, a couple small hits. He could go out every summer, play a tour. That was my goal. Jimmy Buffett, 1 song every year he's out there playing, right? Of course, Yes had many. I mean, the bands that I worship, even Foreigner, many hits, but just enough to sustain a career where I could go out and play for the people that like my music every summer. And I still have to strive to make that happen. And it's kept me putting out music. And I feel like I'm getting better and getting more in touch with my feelings for the lyrics of the songs. And of course, uh, playing wise, wiser and more proficient. So I don't even know what that means, but that doesn't mean complicated. It means we're playing the right thing, you know? So
Yeah.
that's been, as I look on it, I think that's the most important part of Robert Berry's career is that I've made it halfway to where I want to get. And other people say, "Oh, you're so successful," but you're only as successful as the goal you set for yourself, you know. And I'm only halfway to my goal, maybe 2/3.
All right. Well, do you have any other things you want to share with anybody that you can? Any other upcoming projects or any other things that you're going to be working on coming up?
You know, I told you Greg and I work every week on toward a new album. We're about halfway there on that. Greg Kinn,
Hmm.
uh, working on the Prague Stock live video. I'm mixing the tracks now. The video editor is almost done with the video,
Okay.
and believe they can be done separately because I just marry them together at the end. What else? There's, the first concert's booked for next year. I think it's March, maybe April. So, I mean, things are lining up. And we had a whole tour of Europe planned for 2020, which of course got canceled. I'm hoping those dates come back on because I've never played Italy, which is where my record company is. Never played Germany, Netherlands, all the places. The coolest thing in 2019, we did 27 dates US tour in 24 days or something, the whole thing. We had very few days off. But the people that came to see me play and the band play had the old albums. I got to walk out even before the band played and thank them for letting me make a living in music and stay in it. I'm so thankful for that. So I want to do that in Europe too because it's been a huge part of my career. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a happy guy.
Well, it's good to hear. I'm glad that, looks like the album's pretty successful here. And,
Yes.
who knows what the next step after that is, but I guess we'll learn down the road.
Yeah, I got
Take it.
something. I'm writing and things are going on with another guy that's not talking about yet.
Exactly. Exactly. Any more projects with Alliance at all or anything?
Alliance is coming in. Gary and David are coming in, and it's July, middle of July, for us to put the songs together. We're hoping we have enough for another album. It's between Boston and what David does. Like David's doing a thing with Sammy in May, and me with Greg and my own career. We do an album every 6 or 7 years if you want it or not. It takes forever to get an album together, and we're hoping to get this one together so that you know I'm not sure it'll be released this year. It'd be great to release it toward the end of this year, but I'm just not sure I can have it done. Because after we write everything and record everything, it falls on me to mix it and put it all together. And, you know, so for sure, beginning of next year, there will be a new Alliance
All right. Awesome.
album. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
appreciate your time and good luck with everything. And we hope to talk to you again about the new Alliance, hopefully, later in the year or possibly early next year.
Well, I like talking to you, so you better make sure I just don't show up in your doorstep. Hey, 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 we need to talk.
You got it. All
All
right.
right, man.
Thank you. Take care, sir.
Great seeing you again. See you later.